Violent scenes at Parliament as hundreds of police moved in on anti-mandate protesters. The clashes yesterday saw several police injured and 87 protesters arrested. But the question remains, after 23 days, how and why did it get to this? Joining us for more on that now is former top police negotiator Lance Burdett. Lance, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Morena.
Were mistakes made early on in the 23 days that led to the scale of the operation that we saw yesterday?
Yeah, hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? But fairly early on, it was obvious that some mistakes were made, and not by police, might I say. People these days have to vent, and you ask anyone on the front line.
Unfortunately, it looks like we've lost Lance Burdett, but we will come back to him, work on that audio connection and come back. I'd love to know who he's saying the mistakes were made by. We've left us hanging.
A good bit. We were hanging on every word.
I thought the quiz would be the, anticipation of the morning.
No, that's the biggest cliffhanger we've seen in breakfast television for a long time. I'm assuming he was going. I think he's back. Yeah.
Okay. Lance, we have been left hanging by you saying that police weren't the ones to make the mistakes. So we all desperately want to know, who do you think made the mistakes?
Well, initially, I think turning the sprinklers on and playing music was a bit of an error.
So Trevor Mallard?
Somebody in Parliament made that decision. That was an error because if you push on people today, they push back twice as hard. Now, when you start to see that, people from around, not just in the group, started to a bit of empathy with those people. They were there. They were there for 2 days. It was a reasonable start. You've got those outliers that abhorrent behaviour that you're always going to see within those groups. But there was a core group of very solid people that were there just to say, we're here and you're not listening and please listen. And that sets the scene.
Sorry, Lance, wouldn't police have been able to have some influence on Speaker's actions there? Wouldn't they have been able to tell him, look, please stop, you're really making this worse for us?
Well, from what I'm hearing, it was done outside of police control. Now, the people who own the building are parliamentary services. Police are there to support them. It's not police to overtake that. So police responsible is for what? To maintain law and order. That's it. That's their role. They wouldn't have had some influence, and rightly or wrongly, they haven't made any statement about that. But it would be something that I would suggest they would never do, because also with the police we're the advanced negotiation team, of which I was a part years ago. And they know that if you do those sorts of things towards people, it would cause an affront. And so let's not do that. But lessons were learned there.
Yeah.
And then as time went on, no one was there to talk. Now, I would expect the Prime Minister not to talk. I would hope that our Prime Minister is busy doing a few more important things, right, than talking to some people out. But somebody senior from the group could have gone down and spoken with them, not in that environment, though. You've got to take people away from the scene, because the scene is the hotspot. And so, yes, there's disparate groups. Right, so, look, we want to meet with 10, 15, 20, you decide. Now, I'll tell you, the outliers won't want to go to that meeting. That's not there. So you'll get good people going there. What is it? Listen to what they have to say, just like accepting a petition on Parliament, if you like, away from the scene. What is it? And then the government might have said, well, you know what? We're starting to look at reducing some of those mandates now anyway.
Despite the fact that nobody went down and engaged in dialogue, there was increasing pressure on the Police Commissioner, Andrew Coster, for not being able to move these protesters on. Do you think it got to a point where he felt potentially his job was on the line and it was dependent on a resolution here and moving them on?
Well, I hope that's not the case. Like the Prime Minister, the Commissioner sits at the top and has not just this thing going on. There's a whole lot of other things that the Commissioner has to deal with. It would rest with the district commander of Wellington. So the district commanders of each district is responsible for the safety and security of people within their own district. So that person should have been the lead. And very early on, I believe he was doing a great job.